Welcome to Fresh Start Forums. We call this How to Live Debt Free in 10 Minutes. I'm going to show you how to pay off your 30-year mortgage, your car, student loans, credit cards, and any miscellaneous debt you have in 15 years or less. The idea is for you to be able to pay off your debt without getting a second job or working overtime. You see, since the beginning of the credit age, we've had one specific strategy for paying off our debt, and that is when we get paid, we send additional money to our creditors, $5, $10, $15 to each creditor. Why? Because we know and understand that if you send just the minimum payment, we'll pay infinitely. And ultimately, that is the strategy that has us paying with no progress. This strategy is flawed. It has us dividing our forces. We divide our money when we spread it out so thin. We want to learn the strategy that's going to teach us how to unite our payments and our efforts to pay down our creditors and ultimately give us the opportunity to maximize the benefit of every dollar earned. Let me give you a different example. Say you're one of these candidates, and you're given the overwhelming task of convincing everyone on this grid that you are the number one candidate for the job. To accomplish this task, you're given 100 volunteers. So the question is, how do you accomplish such a great task with such little resources? Would you propose taking all of your 100 volunteers and spreading them out along the border of the United States? Does this seem like the most effective strategy to win this campaign? Not likely. You see, clearly we're spreading ourselves out way too thin. We're trying to be everywhere at the same time, and this is what we do with our creditors and with our payments to our creditors when we send $5, $10, and $15 to each of them. What we want to do is use a strategy that's far more effective, and we want to unite our efforts, keep our volunteers together so we can be more effective and gain some momentum. So we're going to put them all together instead of spreading them out. So let's say we start at the tip of Washington and we begin there, and within a short period of time, not only are we gaining momentum, but we're also bringing on some additional support. We now have some extra volunteers, and as we move on to the next state or the next debt, we have more momentum and more volunteers joining our campaign. By the time we move into Idaho, we're in full swing, and this momentum is now carrying us through with the power and momentum that we need to pay down all of your outstanding debt. Now you're beginning to see the value of keeping your resources and your money together and going after one credit at a time as opposed to dividing it. Let me show you how we do this on paper. Of course, we have a program at Fresh Start Forums that does these calculations for you. It'll give you a payment schedule that'll teach you who to pay, when to pay, and how much to pay on a monthly basis. It takes the guesswork out of paying down debt. But that's not the purpose of this informational video. The purpose of this video is to teach you how you can do this on your own with a sheet of paper and a pencil. And let's get started. See, here we have a simple grid. On the left-hand side, we have the name of all of the creditors from this specific debt scenario. There's a Discover credit card, several credit cards, a mortgage, an auto loan. In total, this couple has $179,212 in debt. In the second column, you list all the balances as they are provided for you on your statements. See, the Discover has a balance of $1,250, the car is $5,800, the second mortgage is $39,000, the first mortgage is $123. Up at the top, we have our 100 volunteers. That's right, because we don't want to divide them. Remember in the previous example, we were sending $5, $10, and $15 to our creditors. We want to keep all of that together. Now, if you're thinking, I don't have $100 extra to pay towards my creditors, bear with me, because in the following video, I show you how you can use this exact same strategy with just $1. You will still get the maximum benefit of all the income you're bringing home on a monthly basis, and you'll see that you'll be able to save tens of thousands, if not over $100,000 of debt by just using the strategy and one additional dollar. With this $100, we also got this couple's budget by using the BAM process. And in the other video, we show you how to use the budget, audit, and monitor process to regain control of your financial independence from your budget. Take the money that's being siphoned out of your budget on a monthly basis from your creditors and apply it towards paying down your debt or building a savings. The next step is to list the minimum monthly payments. See, the Discover has a minimum payment of $26. The car payment is $121. The mortgage is $822. And in total, this couple is sending $1,480 on a monthly basis to their creditors. This does not include gas, light, groceries. Those are all living expenses. What we're looking at right here are just your debt payments, and this is what they send their creditors month after month. So let's start at the top, and we want to go with Discover, and we're going to look at their balance of $12.50 and their monthly payment of $26. We want to learn how long it'll take us to pay off this debt at a rate of $26. Roughly, when you divide $26 into $12.50, we get 48 months, and that's how long it'll pay this off. Why do we need this information? What we want to learn is which of these accounts we can pay off the fastest and which will take the longest to pay off. In this case, the mortgage will take 150 months and MasterCard will take 47. So we're going to give a payoff priority to the debts that we can finish the fastest. In this case, MasterCard gets priority number 1, the mortgage gets priority number 10, and they follow through like this. MasterCard is number 1, store card is number 2, the car is number 3, and so on. So what we're going to do is go after the first debt. We're going to grab our 100 volunteers, and we're going to add this to our original payment of $36. Remember that the balance of $17.05 at $36 a month takes 47 months to pay off. But when we add our volunteers to the $36 payment, we're going to get a new payment of $136, and now we're able to finish paying off this debt in just 13 months. See, that's 1 year and 1 month. That's a drastic difference than the 47 months, which is almost 4 full years. Meanwhile, everyone else continues to get the absolute minimum because, again, we're going to get the benefit of not spreading ourselves out thin and trying to be everywhere at once. We're going to concentrate our forces and gain momentum. After you pay off this debt, we move on to debt number 2, and we're going to add $136 to the $27 minimum payment of the second debt. But let's back up for a second, because most of us don't make it past this step. We don't make it to debt number 2. What do we do when we have $130 back into our budget? Well, we're very creative and we find ways to spend it. Well, it's time to get the new laptop or entertainment center, or maybe it's time to get the flat screen TV. So we don't want to do that. What we want to do is keep the momentum going. As the same way we moved into Oregon and ultimately into Idaho, we want to keep the momentum going. So we're going to add it to debt number 2, and that's going to give us a new payment of $163 a month. And instead of being finished in 48 months, we're done in just 8 months. And then we're going to do the same thing with debt number 3. We're going to add the payment of $163 to $121. That gives us a new payment of $284, and the vehicle is ultimately paid off completely in 21 months. That's a lot faster than the original 48 months that were scheduled. That's how we pay off number 2, number 3, number 4. Now we're really picking up some speed. Now he's showing his payment strategy to a friend, and he says, wait a minute, that sounds okay, but we're sending a lot of money to my creditors. What if I have a financial emergency? What if my car breaks down? I said, that's an excellent question. What if your radiator in your vehicle breaks down and you need $600 to repair it? Or what if your water heater breaks down and you need $900 to repair it? You see, look at where we are. We're at debt priority number 5. We're sending this creditor $329 every month, but the regular minimum payment is $19. You can do the math. $329 minus $19 equals $310 of instant emergency funds. This means that if you need $600 to repair your vehicle, you can bail yourself out of this financial emergency within just 2 months of $310 back in your budget. All you have to do is send the creditor the regular $19. If you need $900 to have your water heater replaced and a new one installed, you can bail yourself out within just 3 months. You see, the alternative to this is without this type of strategy, we would be left with the option of just using a credit card or getting a loan or borrowing money from someone we know to pay off for this repairs, ultimately adding to the amount of debt we have. So this financial discipline teaches you how to be independent of your credit cards and break that debt cycle. So we pay off debt number 5, and we really gain financial independence in knowing that we can bail ourselves out in the moment of an emergency. We pay off 6, 7, 8, 9. Ultimately, we get down to the 10th debt, which is the mortgage. At this point, we're sending them $1,580. 30-year mortgage is going to be paid off in 6 years and 6 months. That's a lot faster than the initial 150 months scheduled at this rate of payment. Now, some of you may be wondering, where does this $1,580 come from? Well, if we remember, it starts out with the $1,480 this couple is sending every month to their creditors. We just didn't find new places to spend the money. We kept the chain going, and we moved all the way down our debts. And yes, we added our 100 volunteers. That's what gave us this payment. In total, this couple will be completely debt-free in just 12 years and 9 months.